So now that we've learned the most basic elements, the number of lines of a sonnet, the quatrains that comprise the sonnet, there are three quatrains of 4 rhyming lines, and the heroic couplet. Now we can get into looking at some of the more complex features of the sonnet. So the next question I'll have for you in order to get there is to have you consider how many syllables are in each line of a sonnet. And what I will tell you is that there are exactly the same number of syllables in every line. Again, you're going to have to pay attention to pronunciations and understand that over the hundreds of years since Shakespeare wrote these sonnets, language has changed, and also, of course, there is the British accent to take into consideration. So even today in 2016, some of the words that we pronounce in the United States have a slightly different pronunciation in Britain. So take a moment to count up the number of syllables in each line of this sonnet. So hopefully you came up with the number 10. So there are 10 syllables in every line of a Shakespearean sonnet, and that is one of the features that you will need to memorize. So the next question I'm going to pose to you, since there are 10 syllables in a line of a sonnet, is how many pairs of syllables do we have? And if you break them up into pairs, you can see very clearly 10 divided by 2 is 5, that there are 5 pairs of syllables. And that's going to lead us into our next feature of a sonnet, which is the meter. So now we get into the meter of a sonnet, the uh, style of writing and the cadence of the poem. So this poem has 10 syllables and there are 5 meters of poetry in each line. And the term for that is iambic. The type of meter it is iambic, which means there's an unstressed syllable, which is delineated here by the little U sign, followed by a stressed syllable, which is delineated here by the accent. And the term for that is iambic. So one of the other terms that you are going to have to familiarize yourself with is this term iambic, which is a meter of poetry where an unstressed syllable is followed by a stressed syllable, and it gives you a cadence or a rhythm to the poem, which is da-da, 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 da-da. It's kind of like Dr. Seuss' Green Eggs and Ham. I do not like them, Sam, I am. That is written in iambic. So iambic is the meter in which this sonnet is written. The next question to lead us to our next term is how many meters of iambic is in every line of a sonnet? So since there are 5 sets of 2 syllables, it is clear to see that there are 5 meters of iambic in every line of a sonnet. So you have the first one, which is shall I compare thee to a summer's day. Okay, the first meter is underlined in red, the second in a teal blue, the third in a darker royal blue, the fourth in a green, and then the fifth meter of iambic is in yellow. Now a pentagon has 5 sides. So we use a word that has penta in it to delineate 5, and meter to tell us how many meters. How many meters? 5 meters. So we're going to use the term pentameter, or sometimes it's pronounced pentameter. So the sonnet is written in what is known as iambic pentameter, which is pretty much the way we speak naturally. Is a natural cadence. We usually put the stress or emphasis on the second syllable. Okay, so you're going to see the term iambic pentameter together when you're talking about sonnets, Shakespearean sonnets. Iambic pentameter is the meter that it is written in, where you have 5 meters of poetry where the unstressed syllable is followed by a stressed syllable.